everybody, this is Sarahscopic, and you're watching Traffic Musings. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little happier in this episode. I'm going to talk about what I did last weekend. So I went to a Vanessa Carlton concert, and it was amazing. I got to go with a good friend of mine from back at school, at college, undergrad, because she had a new album that was coming out. And at first I didn't really think much about it. I've been a huge fan of hers, not quite since the beginning, but I have all of her albums. I've loved all of her songs, all that kind of stuff. But she had a new album coming out, and I didn't think much of it. But then I found out she was going to do a concert in Ann Arbor, and so how could I not go? So we got tickets. I got her new album, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. Basically, the place we went to was a pretty small venue for someone who used to be like a huge pop star. It was kind of weird to see all of a sudden. It was kind of like, oh, I guess this is a 400-person venue, and we're all standing. Cool. We went to like one of those places where you just kind of stand and like crowd around the stage, but around like the outside they're like bar stools and stuff. But of course, by the time my friend and I got in there, there were no seats left, so we just kind of had to make do, but that's okay. At first, when we got in, we didn't really know we were going to stand because, of course, everyone's crowding the front, and I'm, short, and so we're trying to peek through, like, okay, whose heads can we peek behind? But of course, everyone's moving their heads, right in front of me. But then we found, like, the perfect spot. So the stage was kind of up against a corner, so if you imagine, basically, anyone who's a theater major will know what I'm talking about, and anyone who doesn't, you're just going to look this up. If you can imagine that upstage was against a wall and stage left was against a wall, so they're in a corner, and obviously downstage is facing us, but stage right is also kind of has some room to the crowd. But it's also kind of got a small like alleyway where it's lead out to a small set of steps where you can go upstairs. That's where, the stars would kind of wait until they could come down. And we saw that there was no one in this little alleyway, but there were people behind it on bar stools. So we thought, oh, are we allowed to stand there? And so we kind of got up there and we squeezed through, and no one told us no, so we stood there. And we had a couple of girls who also joined us, and we found that someone had left a what looked like kind of a huge case, like a huge instrument case, probably for the electric piano. And so we kind of had a good sitting place and stuff like that. So that was great. The funniest thing that happened was so we're sitting there, we're having a grand old time, and all of a sudden these guys come right in front of us, and I'm talking, these guys are like between 5'10" to 6'2". Sorry, tall people, but you all look the same to me. I can't tell the difference. Ha ha ha. So they stood like right in front of us, and we're like, dude, what the crap? What are you doing? And they all got pissy. They're like, well, you can stand in front of us if you want, which, A, like, we kind of had a place we could sort of sit. That's why we wanted to stand back. B, like, they already had a good view because they were towards the front of the stage. They just wanted to be right there because that's where her piano was. And so they wanted, like, the best view or whatever. At first, we're going to let it go, but then this other guy comes up to them and goes, name 4 Vanessa Carlton songs. Now, I should reiterate, I do not support the idea of a true fan sort of thing. Mostly because there's a history of that happening with girl geeks getting quizzed whenever they wear a t-shirt and stuff like that, and that's not really fair. But it was super hilarious when these supposed fanboys that really wanted to see Vanessa were all of a sudden were like, name 4 songs. 1,000 Miles! And then they could not name anything else. They couldn't. They couldn't think of a single other song. And this is her 5th album? So that was kind of sad. Thankfully, they had a female friend who just pulled them back and said, no, don't worry about it. And so thankfully, we didn't have to deal with them anymore. And we had a great concert. My friend and I, we befriended the guy that helped us out. It turns out the friend and I, we did choir together in undergrad. But this guy also apparently did choir. So we were doing like 3-part harmonies and singing along hopefully not obnoxiously, but we were singing along with her. And it was just so awesome. She was also sipping on wine while she was performing, so classy lady, Vanessa Carlton. Nah, but she's really cool. She kind of inspired me to kind of start writing my own piano and singing composition. She was kind of the person that really inspired me. There's another artist that I really adore a little bit more than Vanessa, but simply just because I really like her music a lot. But Vanessa Carlton will always be just like #1 in my heart, and it was a beautiful, beautiful concert. It was kind of funny at the end, because she did play 1,000 Miles, of course, and she, at the end, she was kind of like, yeah, I really appreciate the people who understand that I've grown up a bit, and that I'm taking my music in a new direction. We're like, yeah. So it was kind of kind of a screw you to some of the people that were kind of only there because they only liked her first album or whatever, her like popular song. So that was kind of funny. Because I mean, she's grown up. Her first song, that was like when she was 16, and now she's 35, married, and has a child. So things have changed a bit for dear Vanessa Carlton. But yeah, it was a great concert. I had a total blast at it. Sorry it's dark, guys. It's starting to get dark now, so hopefully you can still see this somewhat. I'm actually going to make this episode a little shorter because my last episode's so long. I will add that I apologize, guys. I wasn't able to collect all your comments in time to do these videos, so I promise that the next traffic musing video I do will be a comments. One of you has got very comment crazy. You know who you are. So it'll be fine. And of course the next episode, as I told you guys, is gonna be a little different. Hopefully it's a good surprise, we'll see. And before it gets way too dark, I'm gonna end this now. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope something amazing happens to you. And without further ado, I hope to see you all in the next episode.